dark sea of green clouds crawls over a crackled, rusty ground. The bones of several monstrosities are scattered, some tucked into the dirt and others piercing upwards. Some bones still have flesh dripping off them. A disfigured tower erected upon a jagged mound emits a small but noticeable ominous scarlet glow from its core and stands the only sign of civilization within this barren wasteland. You see the silhouette of a cloaked man slowly approaching the maw of this tower. A series of staircases encircles the dimly lit interior of the structure and lead to an office at the top. The office doorway radiates a slight yet flickering auburn glow. The figure ascends the stairs, each step echoing the clinking of his armor. As he approaches the threshold, his face is revealed by the light of a giant brazier centered in the room. You see a pale, flaxen-colored face with long silver hair. He wears a thick and coarse black bandana around his eyes, which seeps a subtle fog down his wrinkled cheeks. His head is slumped over a suit of crumbling steel armor, etched with wine decals. "You know," a voice calls out, "your task is already complete. We don't need to be tended to. You can return from whence you came. Although I was about to enjoy dinner overlooking the Ashen Mountains, and I would appreciate the company." "Pleasantries in due time, my sayer," responds the pale man. "I come to visit because I've been observing your progress." He's cut off. "I've told you time and time again we can handle the collection ourselves." Sitting behind the brazier at an ornate slate-carved desk is an older man dressed in fine silk robes of hazel and gold, adorned with garnet. "You say this?" "Yes, your opponent has found one of the globes already." "Which opponent?" the noble shoots in response. "And they tightly guard it in their vaults. Taking it from them would require an army, which of course also requires casus belli." "Which opponent? And I worry not about a reason for war. This land is too divided. Warmongering is to be expected." "The Emerald Ones." Upon hearing this, the noble gives a grim expression. "I do not fear that lot." "Lucky for me, sorting this trouble is your burden for the time to come. On a lighter note, I come bearing a gift." The pale man takes a crystalline ball, half a foot in diameter, out of his cloak. Its exposure to the environment causes pulsations, distorting the sound around it. The noble's face, though stoic, is mesmerized by the object. "You would not have been able to find this so easily. Its location is a secret only to the ancients. Regardless, it proves my point. You and your men are still weak. You need guidance." The pale man says this calmly as he places the globe into the noble's hands. A wicked smile grows across the noble's face. "Be that as it may, one cannot deny our engineering prowess. You have no reasonable means of harnessing their power before we built the grid." "In Gaia, we had no need," the pale man responds. The noble's eyes dart between the globe and his companion. "Well then, care to witness a taste of things to come?" The noble walks the pale man over to a pedestal on the balcony of the tower. The pedestal contains a basin, perfectly fitting the size of the globe. The noble places the globe gently into the inlet. A dark amber aura slowly expands from the center of the globe, and orange runes begin to light up on the pedestal. The aura almost completely encompasses the pedestal before a dense beam of light fires across the wasteland. The noble stares intently at the aura and the beam, and reaches towards sticking his hand in to touch the radiant orb. He turns to face the pale man and begins to laugh maniacally. You guys are not seeing any of this. There you go. Oh man. Laughs maniacally. His eyes start to glow a bloody red, and his teeth all sharpen into fangs. The pale man lets out a smirk and mutters, "Well then, I suppose we shall continue." There.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Ominous.
Spooky.
Nice.
So now here we are. The party is starting in the hamlet of Zeriamea, located in the northern continent of Emil. The northern continent goes by many names, though the locals here call it Scotty's Hem. The settlement is held by the nation of Senyenzer, and this is the Senyenzer is a kingdom born of many tribes coming together. The town is populated mainly by humans, but with a few dwarfs found in the streets. While the days and nights are bitter cold, the people are well fed and generally happy. It's known for its fishing and whaling activities and provides these products as a sort of luxury export. The hamlet is ruled by Dwali Seabane, whom you have not caught a glimpse of yet. The only thing keeping this town from growing are the occasional raids from the trolls who inhabit the nearby mountain range, or so they say. Trolls are thought to be simply a myth. Many of the people are not open to the idea of magic. They've only read about it in books and see it as make-believe. Their books, unfortunately, only deal magic as trickery and being used by the enemies of their god. So why is everyone here in MEO? It is because each and every one of you, upon a certain time of your life, came upon a peddler who was selling paintings, among other trinkets, and you bought one. And all of these paintings were signed by a Leofre Raid, whom you've never heard before. And so when you were going to mount the painting or do whatever with it to spruce up your home or wherever, the paint started to chip away, and there was a map revealed inside of the painting. And it catches your interest, and so you just peel away more of the paint, you basically destroy the painting, you take out the map, and it is essentially just a world map, and it shows a red dot kind of pointing to Zeriamea. I'm going to draw this on the map so people know. So right up there is where Zeriamea is. And so you kind of are drawn to the idea of visiting this area. What is there to know about this Leofre raid, and why am I being kind of summoned here? So the 6 of you set off and you head towards Zeriamea. So here we are in Zeriamea, and I will let you guys place your tokens. So the starting date of this campaign,
I'll go here.
the day today is 2998. That's the year. The month is Aaron, which is the 6th of 10th month. And it is Aster, which is the first week, and day 5 of Aster. So this is considered a weekend. Everyone's sort of relaxed. They don't have work today, and so it's a pretty calm mood today here in Zeriamea. So with all of you guys here now, just feel free to wander around, do whatever. Maybe run into each other, introduce yourselves. Kind of let me know what do you want to do now.
I'm going to find a tavern and see if I can book a gig there.
Okay.
I just met someone.
Is there anything that resembles a library that I can learn about this
You
place?
rotate it.
No, no, there isn't. They don't have a library. This is an extra small village. It's a hamlet, and so they're just kind of up and coming. They're not the most educated folk, but they've got a good thing going, especially with their fishing operation.
Why am I surprised?
Well, the tavern's usually the place to go.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to the tavern too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's the
So it
tavern?
does seem,
My guy's not used to the cold. He's gonna head to the
Tavern is
as
this
well.
one right here. I'm making a mark on the map.
that does seem a good
Okay.
idea.
So you guys enter the tavern. It's a bustling joint because it is a weekend, and so people are just wanting to kick back, relax, have a mug of ale, and just hang out with their friends and chat. And so that's the scene. And now here we are in the tavern.
My character is going to try to get the bartender's attention.
Yes. How may I help you? You are not from these lands.
Do you have anything? Do you have anything of dwarven variety?
Why, yes, of course. We do have a few dwarven residents in this area, and they have been contributing their brewing abilities. And so people, when they stop by, this tavern is usually where they come to taste some fine dwarven ale. It'll cost you only 5 silver pieces per mug.
One shall do nicely for now, and I take a gold piece and slide it over.
I sit down next to Michael, overhearing the chatter between him and the barkeeper. Ah, a traveler like me. I suspect you are also far away from
Yes.
this town. Nice to meet you. The name's Vsimir. Vsimir Farngovi. At your
It's nice.
service.
It's nice to meet you. I am Drover Gadrovan.
Do tell, Drover, why have you come to this tiny village out of...
Well, a while ago I purchased a painting from Layoff Raid.
What coincidence. I've bought a painting from him also, and a map inside. I'd imagine you did do the same thing, yes?
Yes, exactly. Perhaps we would make good allies in the search for whatever it is this map leads to.
By the way, the bartender is raising an eyebrow at you guys.
I've also bought a painting, and with the same map inside. Know anything of this?
For not now. But more than 2 coincidence is very unlikely. I do suspect something is going on. I do wish to find out what's happening. What is your name?
I am Alben Turen.
I come for the painting too.
What is
I
it?
am Saunters-Lands.
I'm curious, where are you from?
Oh, I come from a small tribe, far from here. I do not know much about this outside world, but I do love traveling.
The bartender says to you guys, "You say Leofre Raid. You know, I used to have a painting of his myself, but it was stolen. And I'm not sure whatever happened to it, but that's what the blank space on the wall is from. And now it just unfortunately collects a little dust. But all it was to me was a painting. I know a good landscape painting when I see one, and that's why I had to have one."
Yes, I see. A painting from the mountaintops, I would say you have good taste.
So anyway,
Say, take another.
the chatter continues between you guys, and then you overhear kind of tavern conversations. Over here at this table right here, they're the 4 people, and they're just kind of arguing about the differences in the systems of measurement used between the north and the central and southeastern continents, and so they're saying like we should be using the Gilganesi, and it only makes sense. We're using their calendar system already. Why are we using this? And then the other guys are saying, well, of course, it's because we have several different herbs and spices that are marked by the freezing and burning points of 0 and 100. And yeah, just like around this area, old farmer Thilde, he's been growing an herb that can be crushed down and makes a bit of disappearing ink. And upon that herb freezing, then it reveals itself. So we've been able to find some messages around written around here in the disappearing ink that only show up around this season, as things are getting colder. Oh yeah, and by the way, the season is neck. It is the cold months. There's 2 seasons
Cold
of the
season.
yeah. It's the cold season now. So there's 2 seasons. There's the warm season, which is called Gain, and then the cold season, which is Neck. And so since this is Aaron, you are now in the 2nd season. So things are getting pretty cold. Oh, just over here, you got this bearded guy. He says, "Yeah, so one of my horses has just gone missing. I haven't been able to find him since last night." And then you've got these guys over here, and they're just talking about their trolls. Like, yes, then they came just last week in the middle of night, stole all of our supplies, and we weren't able to make enough profit to make ends meet, and just complaining about it. I had almost defaulted on my loan. I had to sell off lots of things to the pawnbroker, and so just chatter like that. So the bartender says, "Now you said you bought the paintings, but there was more to them, right?"
Yes.
Of course, there's a treasure map on the desk.
Yeah.
Wait a second. We don't even know that it leads to treasure.
It
All
just
we know
leads
is
to
that it leads here.
So he said, "Yeah, may I see that?"
Yeah, so I give it to him.
Okay. Ah, yes. Wait, what's this on the back? It says, oh, this is written in this disappearing ink. This one, it says, look. Interesting. That's all it seems to say.
I pull out my painting and I look for the ink, and I'm wondering if I understand any of the language. If I understand the language on it.
Yeah, it's written in common. It says your map says me. M-E.
Me.
Do you guys all follow suit?
But
Yes.
Before we do anything, I kind of look around the group. Before we do anything, perhaps it is a good idea to rent a room for the night.
I asked the bartender, is there, just so happens to be an inn in this small town of...
Oh yes, it's right upstairs. You're looking
Nice.
for a room? We do have lodgings available that would be able to... We have a bed for each and every one of you. We have a... Unfortunately, due to some economic troubles caused by some thieves, the rate has gone up a little bit, and it's about 5 silver a night. I'm afraid.
I'm gonna ask him if I can play a show in exchange for payment.
Oh sure, yeah, go for it. Go ahead and make a performance check. Okay, yeah, you pass. So-
first roll.
Yeah. So he says, "Oh my, you sure have livened up everyone around here, and what a strange instrument you're using." And so he said, "We haven't seen anything like that. So this is clearly is a treat for the ears for all of us. So
What instrument is it?
Is it strange? It's fairly normal where I'm from.
we don't have those in here.
Huh.
What instrument is it?
It's the
It's a long stringed instrument
Oh.
with only 2 strings on it.
Okay, so you go upstairs and you see this boy. Ah! And he's just a little startled by you guys. You look so foreign. So the little boy's a little startled, but he doesn't really do anything. He doesn't say much. He just like kind of backs up a little bit, and then his foot is just kind of gets caught in the bucket that was behind him. And then unfortunately that bucket was like just kind of the waste bucket that people use.
Ooh.
And so he just had a little bit of bad luck, and so that's kind of it. And he said he's just like he's so shocked by it all, but he still wants to be helpful, so he's just kind of shaking and pointing to the door right here. It's indicating that that's your room and that's where you're gonna be staying.
Okay, well, if I don't know that they don't like magic, then I will cast Prestidigitation on him to clean him up.
Okay, now he's like really freaking out.
Oh god.
And he like starts shrieking. But he's not like he's not like screaming. It's not but it's just what is going on? So
It's okay, little one. My guy gives him a hug.
I've never been this clean in my life. So
It's a wonderful
Can we
feeling.
continue on?
so he's just kind of freaking out and he just like runs downstairs. And then he's just freaking out. And then he just leaves the building.
I'm starting to get the feeling that I shouldn't have done that.
So you guys are there's nobody else in the room, and so that's kind of it. You guys are all in your own solitary area, so you can continue your conversation, whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah, what time of the day is it?
It's you came in right around like 6 o'clock a.m. and so it's still about 8 o'clock. It's really early in the morning. To kind of remind you guys, you had all your maps, and you saw that 2 of them had writing on the back of them. One said "look," one said "me." You have not looked at the other maps yet. Jake's it says "the."
What does it say in Saunters?
It says "upon."
What about
Look.
on me?
We got "come."
Or
We have look upon me and the.
And then we have "come" is another one, and then the last one among you guys is "under."
look upon.
Come
under.
look under.
The last one is missing.
Things might make more sense if we have at least 7 paintings. There could be more, but at least one more piece of the puzzle would certainly help.
Maybe if we could look by the artist.
On the maps themselves, are they all the exact same?
The maps are the exact same. The only thing different on them is the words on the back.
Okay.
Do we know what happened to the artist?
Yes, do we know anything about this author? I suppose we wouldn't.
You haven't asked. You've only asked the bartender.
Time to look for information. It seems like.
You see the waitress kind of complaining to the bartender.
Okay, so I go over to the bar.
So you overhear.
I would like to approach this area as well to listen to this argument.
Well, she kind of stopped when she saw you guys getting close, but you did know that she was talking about you guys. It says, and he doesn't even exist or something like that. And that's what you were able to get out of them, or hear from her.
Okay, so I'm gonna call over the bartender.
I kind of look quizzically and I say, who doesn't it?
Fine. Leo Freyrade. He's just a made-up name. There is no Leo Freyrade.
Oh, is he?
I sigh and I say, well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that, but all the same, we have these paintings.
She says any artist we've ever had in these parts has long died. If you want to find an artist, go to the graveyard.
Well, miss, how can you know that this artist is just make-believe? Have you
I've
met
been
him?
here for years and years. I know who comes in these places, and the town is small enough that everyone knows everyone knows everyone. We've never had a Leo Freyrade.
I'd like to ask if there's a town sheriff or constabulary.
Oh, sure, we have one. It's a very informal bunch, though. They're sitting right over at that table, as a matter of fact. And she's pointing to this one right here. These the four guys right there are guards, and then this guy right here, he's a dwarf wearing armor, and this is a noble, and then this guy, he looks to be a veteran who's got scars covering him, and so
Yes.
so they all look at you. They see a little kid kind of sitting at the table, and I was like, and what brings you here?
So I've heard several mentions of things going missing around town. Horses, paintings, the like. I was just wondering if you had any leads on it.
Any leads? We have a bunch of myths that we've generated and that our people have been talking about. They seem to call them trolls. I don't know where they get that name from. There are no trolls in these parts. Everyone says that they come down from the mountain, but no, this is impossible. There is but man in these areas, and I swear it. If anything has been done, it has been done by a man. Terror, and we don't have enough men on watch to take care of this.
Do you have any leads on where these trolls are coming from in the mountains, or just in the mountains somewhere?
We have nothing other than they're coming from the mountains. When we haven't had time to look into it, there's enough trouble going around these towns.
Well, thanks anyways. Enjoy your middle of the day drinks.
Yeah, and then they just kind of grumble, and then they just kind of all put their hands in their heads and drink their beer, get depressed. So this guy kind of comes over. He's the one who was talking about his horse. He says, so you're asking about these robberies, huh? Yeah, I don't know what they would want to do, robbing a horse. I think it was one of them, I'm sure of it. And they wouldn't get far taking my horse either. My horse is so resilient, it could hold down 10 men.
A horse that big shouldn't be too hard to track.
Oh, I'm sure you'd think. Maybe you could look for her for me. I'll give you each a reward if you find any information, or if you're able to find her.
But what is this reward that you're speaking of?
I'll offer each of you a gold. That's unfortunately all I'm able to offer. But then also my undying gratitude.
I shall keep my eyes peeled.
Okay. So, do you guys want to ask anything else, or do you want to head outside?
Did we find out how long ago it was stolen?
It was taken last night. Couldn't have
The
gotten
painting.
far. Oh, the painting. The painting? It was taken a couple days ago. I closed up the shop that night and locked the doors and came in the next day, and doors were open, unfortunately, and the painting was stolen. Nobody around saw anyone come in or go at nighttime, and that was it.
I imagine that if it were a troll, they would make much more commotion.
Absolutely.
Supposedly they are
Or break
giant
down the door.
creatures.
What, was the lock broken? Was the door kicked
Yes.
The door with the... yes, the doors are still totally intact, and so they...
And what would a troll have use of a painting?
yeah.
Oh, that's just the local color around here. They just...
And to be smart enough to come
Blame
by
the spirit.
twice, if they came by the first time and stole the painting, and then they came by a second time and stole this man's horse,
And there's been multiple other robberies that we have not been able to solve. Tell you what, why don't you go out and get some fresh air? Maybe you might be able to find out some more information outside.
that does seem a good idea.
Okay, so you guys are kind of all around. So you got two things you could go outside. You can visit the graveyard, or you can try and find the horse, or you can ask more people about the trolls.
I'm
Well, I
guessing-
noticed how they're like tables of equipment. Is this a store area?
Yeah, these are the local merchants in the area.
Okay,
I'm
so isn't there anyone here? Like,
There are
stuff?
people. They're inside the tents. So if there's anything that you guys wanted to buy from these shops, then I can tell you kind of what they have. and it's just all stuff that's in the player handbook.
Do they have cow traps and ball bearings?
Go over and I take the meat.
The map.
I take.
Yeah, they're cute little guys. They're about a foot in height, and that is actually where the measurement for a foot in this world comes from, at least in the northern continent, is the average height of a map. It just kind of looks at you and it starts to like nibble at your sleeve.
I purchased 2 bags of cow traps and 2 bags of ball bearings.
Okay. How many of each would that be? Like a bag? It's like okay, it's per bag.
Cow traps is 20, ball bearings are 1,000. But yeah, usage is per bag.
Oh, okay, I get you. All right. Yeah,
There's
go
the
for it.
map except my tigerfish.
The map? No, they're vegetarian.
Oh, what? What?
Yeah, they're basically sheep. They don't eat meat.
Yeah.
Hacking with my
Ravenous sheep. What sheep?
Well,
just-
I mean,
it
I
just kinda-
suppose-
It
I
just
suppose
boops.
you could save the fish for later.
Yeah, it just kind of boops the fish with its nose, and then it just like smells and is like, oh, this is gross, and then just kind of wanders away.
I want to check out the graveyard.
Okay. Graveyard is right over there. You have a guide direct you to it. Oh yeah, it's right over there.
Well, I guess we're going to the graveyard then.
Where is it? That's it.
It's like the
It's
top
a
left of the
thin
map.
guy.
Oh, okay.
Can I get the names of the on the graves again?
We had Silfa Suni. She was an honorable blacksmith. We had Hari Orkelson, who was a priest, and he introduced our religious texts to our area. We had Ridi Kudison, who was an overall professional. He in terms of fishing, he taught us a technique that we use still to this day. We have Aldig Holti, who was a merchant who introduced us to all of our neighboring areas and really improved our trade. And then finally we have Olfred Yao, and he was a very well-known artist, I'd say. If you look further upon his tombstone, and you don't really see anything beyond his last name, the years he was born and he died, and then there's also a symbol on it, and it looks like that, and that is found on the top 2 corners of his gravestone, and that is the only thing that you see.
And I pointed out to the guard and I
Oh.
asked, do you recognize the symbol?
I do not. That's I only thought of that as just a fancy design, but he apparently was insistent on having that added when he had the tombstone commissioned.
Curious.
I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but Alfred is what's the word, an anagram for Leofrey? I wonder if they're the same person.
That's. He does sound like he's had similar influence as our guy.
All right, Isaac, you get an inspiration die.
Oh, thank you.
You found it, yes. Wilfred Yao is an anagram for Leofrey Raid. So what does the party plan on doing next? You have the maps, you've got the words, you know where Leofrey / Ulfred is buried. You still don't know where the horse is. You still don't know much about the trolls. There's still a
Here we
missing
dig
map.
up Alfred's grave.
Did you ask that? in
Probably
character?
not.
That
Yes.
sounds like a really bad idea.
Yeah.
I think we get run out of town.
He gives you the guard gives you a stern look. He says, "You should not disturb the dead."
So where was it that the horse was stolen?
Well, this is the horse ranch right here.
I'm going over here. I want to see if there's anything, like tracks or anything like that.
Okay. If you
Yeah, I'll
want
go ahead and
to...
join you.
I imagine one of the trackers would do better at that.
Yeah.
No, everyone can try it.
In terms of like, if you want to do something that obviously one guy is more proficient than the rest in, like
I'm gonna do
tracking,
investigation.
then,
Well,
then
investigation. I don't know.
right. Well, if you wanted to do something like tracking, then it's kind of you usually held that if the guy who's best at it, like the survivalist, he isn't able to find something himself, then the group is just kind of takes on the assumption like, oh, I guess there's nothing here.
Let me take a look.
Saunters, if you wanted to make a survival check, go ahead. It's blatantly obvious to everyone that the fence has been tampered with. And so
Where? Well, like which direction?
it's like this one right here, right there is kind of, it's broken right in that section, and that's what you're able
What
to find.
directions are the mountains? Are the mountains then? What direction?
I relay all that info to the group.
The mountains are kind of this way.
Okay.
You can't ascertain that the direction that they went was this way. Well, Saunters and Saunters, Drover, and Jake, you see the little boy who stepped in the bucket, and he's over there, and he's scared. First he was scared before you saw him, and now he looks back at you guys, and he's really scared, and now he's like crawled up into a ball, and he's pointing over to the trees. You found the horse. He's dead,
Well, that's nice.
and the
God damn
horse has arrows in it.
Uncle,
Go ahead, do an investigation check, Saunters.
I'm not good with. Oh man, I'm not good with that. 11.
I shall
It's fine. You pass.
Yeah.
You take one of the arrows out of the horse, and it looks interesting to you, but you're not sure about the arrows in this region. Perhaps there's somebody in the town who would know.
I'll take this time to jog on over back to the inn and inform the man that his poor horse is dead.
Okay.
Damn.
To save time, he's very grateful, and each of you get 1 gold, and he trusts you a lot more, and he kind of spreads your names around. He says these are the foreigners who helped find my horse. He says good things about you.
To the Fletcher!
So you're at the Fletcher. Ah, I've seen you around. I saw you at the tavern this morning. What brings you here? Are you here to maybe buy any of my wares? Please buy my wares.
I'm here for this, and I pull out the arrow.
Oh yes. Oh, I don't make those. That looks like. I wouldn't ever make something like this. This is completely inefficient. I mean, sure, it would work if you were trying to pierce the flesh, the flesh, but and in any other case, it would just bounce right off people's armors. It's completely inefficient. Though I can tell from the wood that it is made from the trees nearby.
Yeah, can we go to the horse and see if there are tracks leading off? I'm going to use guidance on myself, and then I'll use survival. So.
Okay. Okay, yeah, it works. So yeah,
Alright,
you do see tracks. You definitely do see tracks. You spot a little bit of blood that doesn't seem to have come from the horse at all. So you can recognize that there was a struggle, and you can see one of the tracks is limping a little bit, and you see exactly where the tracks are going, and there is a road that leads out town, and yeah, it's kind of in the direction of the mountains. Do it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's,
sure,
let's
sure.
Yes,
Let's go.
let's go.
Does the map follow me?
Sure.
You should pick up the map.
Okay,
map's gonna die.
in the bottom right. That's where you guys are.